What's up, y'all? Happy Friday. The weekend is here.
Friday.
So are we. Wearing the same clothes.
Yep.
Shout out. We got Jeff Shorter in the building. Tori Shulman telling everybody to slow down.
That was a gift.
It was a gift. Sam and my girl gang got this from me. Erica, Kelly, slow down.
Yep.
It's a very Laverne and Shirley.
Yeah, it is.
Is it?
Bop, shoe bop.
Yeah.
Little shop of horrors.
That's not Laverne and Shirley.
Well, it's like they wear that shirt, you know?
And Sam Shocker. So let's get started. We are going to have some fun today. We got to get started on a story that's not only trending, but it is sad. And, you know, it was really sad that we lost this brother, obviously DJ tWitch. But Tori, his wife came out this week and had some interesting things to say.
Yeah, I just wanted to get your guys' opinion.
And tWitch, just for people who doesn't know who DJ tWitch is, he was the comic relief DJ dancer on Ellen DeGeneres.
He was also right.
He was on.
He was on So You Think You Can Dance,
yes.
and then he became so good.
and he was a
judge
and a choreographer for many
That's
dancers.
right. And then Ellen was a guest host and fell in love with tWitch, and he went to her show and like got the crowd going.
Yeah.
And he was just like such a happy guy.
Yeah.
Like, and he wore these great hats, and he was the DJ and everything. He, right when Ellen was ending her show, unfortunately went into a hotel room with a suitcase and ended his life with a violence, a gunshot. So it was very shocking to people who didn't know there was a dark side to tWitch. And today, Allison Holker, this week, has his wife,
his widow.
She was also one of my favorite dancers. I watched that show religiously.
She's phenomenal.
On So You Think You Can Dance. She is excellent at dancing.
And their Instagram had a whole separate following.
Right.
That people just loved watching them dance together.
Because
their
like
family
dancers hook up with dancers.
Yeah, they were on similar seasons, and when they would dance, you'd be like, the chemistry is off the charts. Like, they were so great together. She's come out this week on People magazine, the cover, telling a lot of tWitch's secrets. And so she's like, there was all of this addiction I didn't know about. I went into his closet and I found all of these things. Now, she doesn't exactly say what. It's very vague, but about drug relapsing. And then she's like, I had no idea about certain things. Then she goes on to say he was abused as a child, molested as a child, and all of this. And it was like, whoa. Like, should you be spilling these secrets? She's with a new man. She just launched her new boyfriend. Good for her to move on. But understandably, a lot of people are getting the cringe or ick from being so descriptive about something that maybe keep private.
Like, did she air?
She outed him in a really weird way. To me, it was like, yo, I think that's
in People magazine.
That's true.
Right.
It was like,
I
come
don't
see
think
my
that's
wedding.
the place to have that conversation.
I agree.
Yeah.
I think that conversation, Sammy,
It's like a cash grab.
and needs to be had. I say to myself all the time, I think we use terms like, oh, it's sad, or like, you know, evil took over. It's probably not evil. It's probably depression that usually manifests itself with people using heroin. We've seen that with jazz musicians, famous entertainers, and singers. People that lean towards depression seem to find solace in that drug. And so I think there's a conversation to be had.
Yeah.
Him trying to mask the demons from being abused. That is a conversation that his legacy could carry on forever. But Sammy, I feel like time and a place, girl.
The People magazine aspect of it was shocking to me.
Cash grabby?
However, I don't want to say cash grabby.
It does to me.
Because I have not read the article, did she mention that they had always been forthright about?
She said there was a lot she didn't know. But
Okay.
the assumption was she was aware of it, but that she was unaware of the
Had he ever talked? Here's where my mind would change. Because yes, did it feel wrong? I would never want to talk posthumously about my husband's darkest secrets. However, I would change my mind if he had already been open about it on, let's say, a different podcast. He had mentioned it.
Never.
You're positive.
Positive. This was breaking news for people. I followed tWitch.
So she's the one that told his story.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That's what
that
it
feels wrong.
like.
That does. That feels wrong.
Yeah. How do you feel?
Yeah, just a weird place to do that. And I don't know. I wouldn't do that to somebody I loved either.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? No matter what situation
Unless she's
I was
just
in.
grappling with why it happened.
Well,
I mean,
it's been a while.
I'm sad. My mind goes to money too. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
to
I feel
think
bad
that it might not even be the scenario, but it's like,
what money
how
would
much
she
you're going to
make
make
from
off
this?
that? And
Yeah.
it's like, why would you shame your dead husband and his secrets like
agree.
that? You know what I mean? I wouldn't want my. Do they have kids?
They do.
Yeah,
See, I don't. It seems a little.
Yeah, it
Everyone's
feels-
writing, but the kids are going to read this. The kids are going to read
If
this.
she
Yeah,
wanted to
no.
like somehow silence any sort of like nefarious rumors, she could have easily said,
Right.
listen, there's a lot that happened in his life that you're not aware of.
Yeah.
My husband was a good man,
Right.
but I'm not going to tell his secrets
Totally.
or whatever. There's a way she could have, if she needed to address it, that's how she should have done
Right,
it.
right. Like everyone thought Twitch was the happiest guy in the world.
Right.
I loved
Totally.
watching Ellen. Twitch was an
Yeah.
amazing part of it. He was the hype man, brought the crowd up. And it's okay to come out in like some special and say, hey, there was a darker side.
Yeah.
I know everyone sees Twitch as this, and I
Right.
love them, and the kids love them too. There was a darker
Let's be
side.
real about it.
You know, so
Right.
I want answers too. Maybe it was something in his past, like Al said. Maybe bring some awareness to
Yeah,
different things.
but
This
not so
doesn't
salacious.
seem-
It feels very
And
salacious.
I don't even. I feel icky even talking
Me
about
too.
it,
I feel
judging
great.
everybody. But
Same.
there's a better way.
Yeah.
And it's also, but here's the sad part about it. We led our show with it. Well, we've been
I was
talking about
interested.
Allison Holker.
No.
Holker, case in
Is
point.
that why she did it? To stay relevant?
Would
I
we be
hope
talking
not.
about her right now, Tori, if she hadn't?
No.
Would we ever talk about her again if she hadn't?
No, wait, but
Would she ever be trending if she hadn't?
does she need that to like stay, you know?
I think
don't know. I
once
feel
you've
bad.
had a bite at the
Yeah.
apple of fame,
Yeah.
and you feel that star getting further and further
Yeah.
away, we've seen it with stars. They do crazy stuff to their face. Some start leaking
You see
sex
Jeff?
tape.
Oh my god.
But I mean, it's not that far out of the realm, and maybe people kind of reeled her in, like, "Hey, we just want you to talk about it a little bit," and they took the juiciest thing and put it on the cover.
Yeah, they could have flipped his words around
But
too.
Well,
she had to have
his
known.
family. Again, I always want to know what the family's saying because your mom is going to have your back. Like your mom,
That's your baby boy.
So his family and his dearest friends are all completely challenging, ripping apart the widow, Allison Holker, over all of the claims.
Yeah.
The drug claims.
I mean, that's defamation level. If they're saying this is false, they could sue her butt off.
It's a lot of infighting now.
Wow. That's so awful.
Wow.
And I mean, I
Okay.
can't be mad at them at all.
No.
What you're doing when you defame somebody, especially that can't speak up for
I mean,
themselves.
that's the worst type of defamation.
And it's not like if she, I think we would be having a totally different conversation, a positive one, if she was like, I want to talk to kids that may be on the same path.
Yeah.
And you are seen and
And
like
you're always showing
understanding you
happiness
can
and-
get to the heights he
Right.
was and still have these demons. So here's a way to not
Exactly.
end up with
this
the
is not
exact
good.
same
And
fate.
she's not thinking about her kids
No.
because I would do everything in my power, even if I felt comfortable for whatever reason airing Mark's dirty laundry. I would think of my kids first.
yeah, that's what everyone's writing.
Right.
So we're in agreement on this one.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah,
Well,
that
let's
feels icky.
let's move on and we'll just knock this one out because it's kind of a similar ilk. Liam Payne, obviously he was in One Direction. He fell / jumped / we don't know from a balcony in Argentina.
Brazil? I think it was
I think it was
Brazil.
Argentina. I'll look and see.
Yeah.
And it had been after a world-class bender. Jeff, I don't know if you've been on the show, but I mean,
You told me 6 bottles.
of
Yeah, it was
whiskey.
a-
It was like
I couldn't
6 or
believe that.
8. It was like I couldn't believe I read that. And I mean, a lot of cocaine, and that kind of plays into the story because obviously his friend that was supposed to be, I don't know, de facto
Sober coach?
watching him. He wasn't even he was just his friend that like promised to look after him.
Right.
The police were trying to go after him for being
negligence.
negligent
Yeah.
because apparently the friend stayed somewhere else because obviously it's hard to get sleep when somebody's had a pound of cocaine and who knows how much whiskey. So he removed himself from the situation, which I feel he had every right to do. And now the hotel in which the incident occurred has let go of, and the police have taken into custody a waiter that procured cocaine for Mr. Payne that night. Sam, what do you think about going back? We almost saw this with Matthew Perry, finding the drug dealer of the person that overdosed because that person was famous, because we really don't do that for regular folks. So do you think it's just a way for us to,
was it special cocaine, Al? Was it like pink cocaine?
I don't know.
Which is like a different type. I just want to know if the drug itself was different.
If the drug, well, first of all, I think for me, if it was my child, I would want to know who sold them the drugs to and probably go after them.
Yeah, the best case scenario would be the police before Sam got you. I swear. I would be very worried for them.
But then again, I do see, especially when I worked in the clubs, the people that would come in and bring their own drugs and do their own drugs and everything would be fine. And then God forbid, and I'm not talking about security because security were fine with it, but God forbid somebody came in from, we would get drop-ins from the police or what was the
Vice?
ABA or something?
No, what was the one that, not ATF, we would get the police would come in, but then what was the one that would like track ABC? Right? ABC, they would track
the
your...
liquor.
They would track to see like, are you over serving? Things like that.
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden...
and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then all of a sudden, the lowest people on the totem pole start getting called out by the cops. So you see bussers getting pulled out there. You see barbacks, bartenders. So is there a complete... 1000% the rich are getting away with all these things. They're not being held to blame. Is Liam Payne being held? I mean, he lost his life. And I do think that there should be consequences for drug dealers, especially those that are selling like fentanyl or things that are lethal. But I also see the writing on the wall that the first person to fall is usually the waiter, is usually somebody that maybe are temporarily selling. I'm not condoning it, but they're not the problem, although in Matthew Perry's case, that was a gross abuse of supply. Got him addicted, continued to. So I do think there's different variations.
Had addiction problems. Jeff, what do you think about this?
I'm kind of with, like, again, you bring your kids in, it's a totally different situation. Right. But then if you're selling bad stuff, like Mac Miller got bad stuff, like I love Mac Miller, I think that guy should go to jail. Yeah. But not like... But should he go to jail because he's selling drugs necessarily? I don't know. But
I know.
You're going to get it one way or the other. Matthew Perry was going to get it from that guy or somebody else. Michael Jackson was going to get it from that doctor or somebody else. He was going to find a way to get it. The rich always do. But when it comes to, and I'm sorry for Liam Payne and his whole family, what it went through, sometimes you have to blame the addict. Yeah. And we've gotten in this, all the scenario where like, it can't be that guy's fault because he was such a good singer and I love his music. Maybe he wasn't such a great guy. Maybe he had a real problem that couldn't have been dealt with. And he drank 6 bottles of whiskey and did too much coke and he fell off the balcony. Maybe that's the answer. And I understand being a father that you don't want that as the answer. Right. And your brain won't tell you that. And you need someone to point the finger at to kind of feel some way inside. I get all that. But we don't blame enough like, hey man, if you weren't doing that, that wouldn't have happened. Mm-hmm. It's again the cause and reaction. That's what I believe in life. I'm very straight shooter. You're the cause of this. You grabbed my girlfriend's ass. Therefore, you got punched in the face. Now I have to go to jail. Right. Like we're all backwards over here. You started this whole thing. You snorted a pound of cocaine allegedly and drank 6 bottles and fell off the balcony. I hate to be so blunt, but we have to like just, sometimes you just have to call it out, and there's different cases for different scenarios, whether it be Michael Jackson or Liam Payne, but we've lost the sense of just saying how it is in this country. You know what I mean? Because then someone wants to pile on with something else that's going on societally.
I mean, I think more than anything, this is just a case of CYA, Tori, because, the head of the police department is like, I'm not going down for this.
What's CYA?
Cover your ass.
Oh.
Wait, that was a pretty good one, though.
What did you think it was?
I mean,
See ya.
But why would that apply to this?
I'm not going to help you. See ya.
That's what they say in Argentina.
Yeah.
Ciao.
But no, I feel like
what does it mean?
Cover your ass.
Cover your ass. So the police, the head of the police is like, well, we're not taking the fall for this, even though the cops went there, and the hotel's like, well, you're not taking we're just a hotel. So they're like, who can we fire?
Exactly. They go to the lowest person on the totem pole. That's exactly right, and I've seen it happen in the club industry. They have a lot of money in the clubs too. Right. So I'm not comparing it to this. But
fancy
it's very
hotel, but similar.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're not going to tell an A-list celebrity they can't have or do blow.
Yep.
Because their presence in your club is what's making your club function.
Yeah.
People pay celebrities to show up there. And the fact that Liam Payne was at this hotel, you best believe they were like, free stay. Can you stand in front of that palm tree for a second? Yeah, they need pictures to let people know this is a place where celebrities come, and a place where if you want to do a bender or have sex with 25 women, we won't say anything. That's the way. That's part of their business model. And when things fall apart, now they're trying to say, we don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
So it just seems like a sad situation. And again, like you said, Sammy, the person on the lowest person on the totem pole, in this case, the waiter, looks like he's in some trouble. Speaking of trouble, who's planning on traveling the next couple of months? Anybody?
Or
did you get, well,
I am.
Tori, yeah.
I am.
Oh, good luck.
Yeah. Well,
Why?
it's
That's not really.
What are you flying, by the way?
I'm flying United.
Good for
Girl, finally.
And I'm flying first class.
you. Even better.
Yeah.
All right.
This
And-
one's been flying Frontier, Spirit
I
for
like
the last
those. They're fine.
7 years.
They're not fun.
they're not.
South. They're fine. The
But you
seats are
always have a complaint.
Yeah.
fine.
The complaint is you're flying Spirit.
I'm flying United, and watch, it's going to be terrible.
By the way, did you see that in
raccoon?
Congress?
Yeah, Josh Hawley.
They went after because they were charging people. They were just
$10 a person.
But they were in line. The gate agents would get a bonus if they made them pay for their bag.
Yeah.
Because you don't get a free bag on Spirit. You got to pay for it.
And he was like, it'd
so
be
they were
2
getting
centimeters
a cut
off.
out of more people they were charging. So they get a piece of that, kind of like a drug dealer. They
kickback.
get a little
and
piece
Josh
of it.
and Josh Hawley, who I hate, spoke out and goes like this. So wait a minute, how much did you pay him? He goes $10. And he goes, how many $10 did that add up to in a year? And he goes, $26 million. He goes, you're charging people who have already paid to be in line to come out and then get paid more.
Is this Frontier or Spirit?
This was,
I think it was Spirit.
I don't know, but he ripped him a new one.
But the whole point of it was that.
And I was
That's why you
so
need to
like, yes,
not do
Josh.
that.
Exactly.
And a raccoon fell out of the ceiling.
The overhead?
Not in the plane, like when you're checking in your bags and whatnot, like
The bulkhead?
No, the gate
No.
that comes out. That
You don't
thing,
need to
right?
make the sound.
No,
That
the
helps.
ceiling, but they like push up, like those types of ceilings.
What are you talking about? Are
overhead
you on the
bins?
plane?
Like in the baggage compartment?
You're talking.
No, I said not in
bridgeway.
the plane. Before you get to the plane, you look up and there's like all these different squares that you can move. A
Do
raccoon
you go to the airport on mushrooms?
Oh my God, raccoon!
What are you
a
talking
raccoon.
about?
I
Are
saw
you talking about the
1,000 lights when
jet-
I
like
looked
that-
up. You put your bag in there.
The thing that extends.
then a man-
that
No,
you
when
walk
you're
on?
in the airport and you're checking into Spirit, you wait in line to check in your bag or
So you
talk
mean the
to
ceiling?
and you talk to someone, and the one above Spirit or Frontier, a raccoon came down and created chaos. And it just goes to show that weird things happen to the airlines that Tori thought were fine and
No,
dandy.
this is why
two
people are so
dead people.
confused.
Two-
You made it seem like it happened on the plane. So it's called a ceiling.
Yeah.
It came
I
out of the
said
ceiling.
where's the ceiling
roof-
tile?
a raccoon
I
came
said
into the
the
roof.
ceiling.
And no, you didn't.
They
you
found this
said,
specific ceiling where there's like squares.
yeah, we
and
got it.
they
Like you're in your grandma's basement with the squares, right? And you could push the styrofoam up
yes,
or whatever.
exactly.
Okay, it's called a ceiling.
No, that's not.
Yes, that's exactly what
Yeah,
it's called.
it's just a ceiling.
Matter of
Okay,
fact,
well.
that's the only thing
So
it's
a
called.
raccoon was outside on the roof
Doing
and
his
it happened to
thing.
fall in. You made it seem like he was flying
Cool
the plane.
story, bro.
They found 2 dead people in the
Raccoons
baggage.
do have kind of
Yeah,
like
that's
old
Not
school
the
sad.
baggage.
Yeah, it's sad.
That's,
That's
you're
stow-
talking about
that's
in the
stowaways.
wheel.
In the wheel.
Stowaways.
It's stowaways.
That's
They found-
horrific.
They found 2 dead
2
people in the wheels.
Well, before you go to
Stowaway.
Morbid Town, I do want to say this. My
Cause of reaction.
That's my podcast partner on My Safe Word Is More had an incident with Southwest, and I heard that they're changing the policy now.
Yeah, yeah, their
But with Southwest, they have Group A, Group B, Group
They're
C,
changing that.
and if your group anything below like even B, you might be pushing it. You're going to have to definitely maybe check your bag, but definitely have a middle seat. So people pay extra to be in the A or B group. She's leaving Orlando, full of very kid centric, and I guess the rule is you can board as a family if you have a 6-month-old with you. It's somebody that's like
6 and under.
6 and under, 6
Yeah.
and under with you. And so whole families
Are getting
are
split?
getting on before the A and B people.
No.
Yeah,
No. I just went through this.
Please talk about it.
So it's after all the A's get on,
But before
family
B?
boarding.
Oh, that sucks.
Family boarding. Yeah, we need extra
6 and under.
time.
But what about
I
B?
didn't
If I
know
paid
that.
for B?
But B people paid, right?
Oh,
But
well,
when you pay for early bird check-in, I just went through this when
You
we
go
went to
to A?
Mexico. They actually gave me my money back because I complained.
Yeah.
You're
Shocker.
turning into my husband.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I got nothing. Actually, I had a job at the time. I just like to complain. But yeah, so I didn't know that. And we were far deep into the B group, and I paid for early bird check-in, which means I should get on in A is what I would assume.
Right.
And then we got on because of family boarding. I didn't need early bird check-in. So I called them, or I wrote them in Mexico. I go, I don't need this early bird check-in anymore. And by the way, I didn't need it on the way here. Why did you? I have a family and you know their ages. Why wouldn't you tell me that?
Because they're scumbags.
And they're like, well, sorry, it's too late. I called, and the girl was just super dismissive and just goes, you're not getting your money back. And I was like, oh, yeah? Then it fired me up, and I was like firing letters. They did give me my money back for early bird check-in.
Good job.
But I didn't know that families could board after A group.
I
and
think that's okay.
I really like Southwest. I like the way
Wait,
they do
Sam,
their
you
stuff.
think that's okay? People paid money.
But here's the thing. 6 is a little bit old. I would say if you have kids in strollers, you get on first.
Right.
So you don't even need to, again, buy that early bird check-in. If you have a kid in a stroller, which you know how difficult it is to travel with kids.
Yeah.
I'm glad they do that first. The family stuff, when you have like middle kids, you don't want to split them up. So I get them coming on.
But you're screwing the B people.
But here's the thing. If you pay for early bird check-in, you should have A. There should be an early bird when all the A's fill up and they know how many that is. I understand this isn't a good business model because some of those people won't show up. But you need to sell out the A's and then do a discounted price. You're definitely guaranteed B.
Yeah,
and
they're
then
early
the
birds. You're
C's
getting
is a
B's
free-for-all.
now.
Well,
You're getting
I just
Bs.
think
Right.
you can solve all this by going to an airline that has an assigned seat. If you're that worried about sitting with your kid, as you should be, you go to an airline.
Vice versa,
2, 3. No,
it's
because
significantly a lot more.
way more pricey.
If I paid for
Vice
A,
versa.
and then all of a sudden I'm now just subject to how
versa.
many families decided to buy that flight, that should not affect me at all. That shouldn't. How does that affect me? I paid for my seat. I paid for an upgrade.
They're trying to make it family friendly.
A family is paying a lot more than a single
your
person.
business. It's not my business.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying the bottom line is, a company is going to go, okay, this family is putting in $4,000.
Oh, I see your
this
point.
It's not personal.
So we're going to give them more.
This individual is putting in $500. Who are we going to accommodate more?
Right.
And the only reason why I like to have that extra time is I don't check my bags. So I don't want like Mark's and Sophie's bags to be on one end of the plane, my bags to be on another end of the plane. I want us all to be together.
Okay.
And
so I like it.
Business. Why don't you book a business class seat and leave the families alone, dude?
Yeah.
Look,
you do anyways. He does anyways. He always is business.
I'm not.
First.
Yeah, but they don't accommodate. Oh, I'm sorry, not Spirit. Southwest.
Right.
But they don't accommodate to that. So as a single person, if you're really
He doesn't fly Southwest.
You know what I'm saying?
Just
though?
they fly
If
to
you
Burbank,
want a
I don't
nicer
go
seat, then go to American or United.
Yeah.
And then you'll have your own seat. You don't have
But
to
then
deal with that.
then I'm being
but you know what you're getting into.
But then I'm being financially
Wait a
penalized
second.
for not
Don't tell
having
me
a
to go
child.
to
Right.
American or United. I want to be on Southwest. I
But
paid
then you
extra.
can't complain about not having upgrades because they don't have that.
Those people don't have upgrades. I have an upgrade. The
Yeah,
family.
but so did I. And I didn't even get to use it.
I don't even know what airline we're on anymore.
Did you hear at DIA, and I know it works,
There was a
my
raccoon
sister did
flying
it.
the plane?
Yes, in the ceiling.
Did you know that you can reserve your spot in line in security?
Yes. Yeah, there's a secret
didn't.
thing upstairs now.
Yes.
Yeah.
My
but-
mom said she was in and out in a breeze.
Okay, here I also looked into that. She doesn't have
Or maybe it was my sister. But
TSA
yeah, one.
she doesn't have TSA.
Oh.
You can't have TSA to do that, I heard somewhere. Don't quote me on that.
I don't remember if it was because they left the same day. If it was my sister or my parents, one of them did the reservation and said they literally went in, out to the tram.
Yes. I looked into that, and they said if you have TSA pre-check,
you can't
do that.
Okay.
Don't quote me on
What's
that. But
the thought process behind that?
Like a mercenary waits in line for you? Like, does someone wait in line for you?
No. You have a time. I'm going to check in at 1:30.
Oh.
And
See,
then
that's going to be chaos if one thing goes wrong.
They went right to the front, and they showed their little reservation, and on they went.
Speaking of like getting in line, don't you hate when you're at Southwest and you're like, excuse me, I'm 32. You know, and you're trying to get in there, and they're like, "What?" Like, no one lets you in. You're like, "I'm 30. I'm 32."
You can't on Southwest.
On Southwest, you have to get in line.
What is the thought
So
process?
like, you're the A group and B group, and
you're
you're just trying to
I
fit in,
know,
and everyone's
I
kind
know.
of like gives you dirty looks.
Yeah.
Excuse me, 32.
I'm 16.
I'm 32. Yeah. Could I?
16.
Excuse me.
I'm 84. I'm before you.
And then
And
Wait,
you have to show it. And
Yeah.
like, you have to
You
show
have
it.
to show because
You
people are
have
like
to
pissed
show
with their.
it.
Like they're going on
Yep.
vacation with their big straw hats.
Yep,
And like,
you have
"What
to
number?"
show it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm 34.
You hate Airlines.
Yeah, you better
Yep. No,
make
he's
sure.
right.
You better
Oh, yeah,
make
I
sure
have it
they're
out.
behind you
Yep.
because if I'm 32 and they're 30, they look at you like you're insane. I'm 32. Yeah, get behind me, Jack.
He's right.
Yeah.
Boss. I have mine out. I purposely will have mine out with the numbers so people. Yes, I don't want to deal with it.
Yeah.
I don't want to deal with it.
Well,
People
I'm flying
look.
United. That
People
was the answer.
look.
Okay, well, I don't understand that business
didn't know
model.
what you were getting into
I
with
I
this.
know it's there. No, but there's a lot of tension because a lot of people fly Southwest. They just don't go to the city I go to. That's why I'm flying. But I used to fly Southwest when I lived on the East Coast.
I always go to. I like
yeah.
Southwest, until they lost my baggage for 85 days. That was not fun.
Yeah, well, you made out
And
okay. Let's check
You got
out.
double checks back. Didn't
Yeah,
you?
yeah.
You
Yeah,
got 3
she
checks and
did.
didn't return them.
Dude.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow, shady.
I hope a raccoon eats your luggage.
Yeah,
man, I hope
they're
a
in the
raccoon
ceiling.
eats you.
Yeah. All right, let's end with this story. This is a lighter story, but it's still strange. Donald Trump is claiming that he's going to rename the Gulf of Mexico the Gulf of America.
He said he's already begun legislation.
Which can't happen, by the way. He's not in Congress. That is a bill that he might be writing, but he can't do anything legally. He can't do anything about that. That's also part of the federal trade. There's a lot going on. But I do want to say something. Philosophically, this brings up an important point. America First, which is Trump's slogan, is a very strong nationally centered feeling. We're not the police of the world. So that if a war breaks out in Ukraine or if a war breaks out in Israel, we don't get involved. That has been Trump's philosophy. And that's actually a perfectly fine foreign policy philosophy. It's all about
Other
America.
countries do that.
Right?
Yeah.
Now, there have been a lot of other things like the Marshall Principle and other things where we take care of others. Right. So if Ukraine is getting bombed out of their country by Russia, we step up, right? Or if Israel and Palestine, we take care. So I just want to say it's not a small thing that he wants to change it to Gulf of America because he wants to sort of brand America as the one and only and then not touch the rest of the world. And I just wondered what you guys thought. Is that a fair foreign policy feeling, or do you like the idea of being part of
naive and ridiculous to think that? Our entire foreign policy is to interfere in other countries.
Thank you for a reason. We're not to protect.
I would argue that's the only thing we do.
And
that's when you were saying like our job isn't the police. We're involved in everything.
Yeah.
Well, everything.
But then,
purposely.
But then is it not true when they say America first and we're just staying within America?
But I think other countries also look to America for help.
Right.
And like Taiwan, there's
of course, but Trump
Ukraine,
is saying they're saying we will not use our soldiers, our money. We want to stop the flow because it's America first. I just wonder what you guys thought about that.
So is he going to
He wants the Ukraine money to stop. He wants to
he's going to reinvest into our own country.
That's what he says.
Okay.
And he wants no more. He doesn't like war at all. He wants no more money going out to help other foreign countries. He says if you're in, the European Union,
EU.
you take care of it. If you have an issue with your,
but they're not even part of the United Nations.
Right.
Ukraine, which is. I do agree a little bit.
Right.
We gave them trillions of dollars, and they're not even in the United Nations.
That's right.
Everyone, I think they do though. I think everyone's contributing. I think we're contributing significantly more
and we have
than
more
all
money.
the UN countries.
That's right.
But if you don't want to be part of the UN, you're kind of on your own there,
That's
especially
Trump's
where
feeling.
I don't totally disagree with that, even though we should help countries like that. If he's able to stop that war. Then the money stops. But trillions of dollars for somebody that's not even part of that agreement, I see the point in that.
That's aside,
but you have to understand, like, if you do allow Russia to eventually defeat Ukraine, even though, it seems like it's kind of a stalemate at this point, you have now established a precedent.
And you've lost a democratic hold in that area.
That like
region.
You're going to sit by and let what's that word starts with a P? describing a country that autonomous country, basically. What's the word?
Province?
No, Jesus. No, just you're going to let a country be invaded. Sovereign country.
Starts with a P. Yep.
It's a silent. P.S.
Sovereign.
It's like pneumonia.
Pterodactyl.
But no, it's like, you've established a precedent that you're going to let a sovereign country be invaded and not do anything.
Right.
And that's something that could happen globally. There will be countries that try and invade other countries. And it might not be this country, it might not be Ukraine, Russia, but at some point, some country is going to invade a country we do business with. Yeah. And they're going to be like, you going to let them do this to us? Mm-hmm. And now are you going to go back on that policy? Right. I think the idea
America
first, there's no any country first. This is like a feeding system. Taiwan makes stuff. We buy stuff. They ship us parts. iPhones are made in 15 different countries and come together. There's no like, we got this. And to look at the global economy like that is tough. So I'm very curious, one, how many U.S. citizens are aware of our interactions and like when leaders fall in other countries, like, do you think that we didn't have anything to do with that? Like,
yeah, but I don't think we know anything.
We know.
I mean, we have opinions about like all that, but what's the real reason? Are we protecting their humanity, or is there a pipeline that's involved?
I think it's
with
all
oil.
money.
Think about Iraq and Kuwait, right?
I would lean towards the latter.
Why did we help with Iraq? Because there was oil in that
and
region.
it's kind of like you could break it down to like, man, we have traffic stops out here to stop drunk drivers because that's what we care about.
Right. No, we need
really?
money.
You need some money for because you're lacking, your city's lacking. I get that. You could also paint that out. Hey guys, it's for the kids.
Right.
How much of that money's going to the kids?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So I don't know, like when we talk about global policy and all that, we all have a opinion about what's right or wrong. What's the true
America first, but greed.
Why we're there.
Can I just say this as we wrap up?
Yeah.
I was sitting in my car like a crazy old man at a grocery store waiting because a Cars for Kids ad came on. I was watching YouTube. And I was like, first of all, it's the same commercial. Those kids have to be 57 years old.
It's an old commercial.
And what is that business model? Just give your car for kids. But then they were like, they go, if you have a boat or real estate. And I was like, what is this bullshit? What kind of scam bullshit is this?
Yeah. Yep.
Them kids are 53 playing the worst fake. I'm like, they have kids that can play instruments. These kids are acting like they just like were released from somewhere. These kids don't know how to strum a guitar. It's the weirdest commercial. And I'm like, what is going on? We have to rap.
The Sandman's coming in.
He doesn't. Oh my god! Nick, Winnie told us
How
to rap
does Winnie
again.
know?
Did you send him over here?
That's crazy.
That would be good for arguments.
know.
It's like Winnie's
Thank
decided
you.
we've talked enough about this.
You
can have the car.
She's a stage manager.
Yeah, good for you.
Good job.
All right, and on that
She's a
adorable
stage
note,
manager.
yeah, she really did. Taking jobs from good Americans, Winnie. Guys, I love
Send us
you.
thousands of dollars. It's for the dog.
Yes,
it's for the dog. We have to pay our employees.
Real estate
equally.
or a boat. Night Owls, we love y'all. Thank you. I'm going to say it again. Thank you. Guys got us to 5,000 subs. Sam decided to pull her mic over for the last 4 seconds of the show. I mean, we are true professionals.
And
but we wouldn't be
10,000
here.
subscribers on Instagram.
Okay, you can just say that right to camera.
Followers.
Okay, there we go.
Love you
We love y'all.
guys.
See you.